Hello and welcome to Wednesday Live with Evie. This is number 77. And each week I share on a topic relating to productivity, and today's topic is being fair holding you back? So say hi in the comments and let me know, where do you see being fair as maybe helping you out in your business, and where do you see it as maybe holding you back a little bit? Comments and let me know, where do you see. Sorry about that, didn't have it muted. Usually I have something else set up there. So anyway, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Evie Burke, and I help women entrepreneurs take their productivity to a new level, so at the end of the day they don't have to worry about what didn't get done or what needs to be done tomorrow, but they know they have a plan, and at the end of the day they can just be present with the people that they spend their time with. And more to the point, they don't feel like they're running out of time. They don't feel like they have to give something up so that they can get things done. They know what the plan is, and there's a schedule for it. There's a plan for it. So today's topic comes to you courtesy my archives. So I was going through some of my old posts and I came across this one from, I think it's 2016, and I wanted to share it with you and talk a little bit about it because I think it's something that's super important. So it started when I was driving home, and again, this was a couple of years ago, and I was at the point in the road where two lanes merged together, and it was right after a stoplight, a stop sign, stoplight. And the cars ahead of me nicely merged together like a zipper, like you would want them to do, like you're theoretically supposed to do, right? And there was a car in the right lane. I was in the left lane. There was a car in the right lane, and the right lane ended. That was a little bit ahead of me. His nose of his car was a little bit ahead of me. And so I was leaving space so that this car could merge in. And instead of merging in, this car hit the gas and sped up, like to try to get two cars ahead. And what happened was the car directly in front of me also sped up and started tailgating the car in front of him, so that this car that was trying to, jump the line, so to speak, couldn't do that, couldn't get an extra car length or two ahead. And so he ended up back in front of me. And it kind of made me laugh because it wasn't because I was like, oh, haha, he got what was coming to him, but the fairness of it all really amused me because I imagined that the people in front of me, the cars in front of me, were thinking, nope, you have to wait your turn, or you're not getting ahead of me, no way. And he had to wait his turn because it was only fair, and it just kind of amused me. And I also laughed because it didn't really matter. Him getting one or two car lengths ahead of where he was not going to make a huge difference in when he got home. All it probably did was frustrate him and frustrate the other people around him when it really didn't need to. And the other thing that was kind of amusing about this is the car that sped up to prevent him from getting in, about a quarter of a mile later, that car turned on a side street, and it wouldn't have cost him any extra time just to have let that car that was trying to zip ahead in, right? Because he was turning anyway, it didn't matter. But it made me think about our commitment to fairness and how that plays out in our lives, and specifically how that sometimes plays out in our business in maybe ways that aren't very helpful. So some examples that I know I have experienced in the past that maybe you will identify with. And, if you do identify with them, I would love to know that, just for my own knowledge. And you don't have to say it if you don't want to, but I would be interested to know, what your experiences are, or what things you've experienced or what you've seen observing other people. So anyway, one example is maybe somebody with a similar product or service comes to a networking group that you've been involved with for a really long time, and everyone is just raving about their product or their service and how good it is and what a difference it's made for them. But no one's really done that for you. And so you're kind of annoyed, or maybe you're a little frustrated because you've been there much longer than this other person. So you should be receiving those accolades. These people should be raving about you, right? Just a minute, I'm trying to make sure that the video is working here. So another example is maybe you're in a group program or attending an event, and you find out that someone else that also is in that program or maybe attending that event is getting something that you're not. And instead of asking that person about it or asking the organizers or the person leading it, you know, what happened there or what's going on, you sit and stew on it and maybe compare notes with other people. And it just kind of makes you feel frustrated and annoyed, right? Or maybe you're at a networking event and it's your favorite event and everybody gets the same amount of time to talk, and there's this one person that gets longer to talk for no apparent reason, and you're really annoyed and frustrated because, well, you didn't get that amount of time. Why didn't you get that amount of time? Why is the person in charge letting that person have all of that time, right? And the last example I have is maybe somebody just started a business that's similar to yours and is having more success than you are. But you started first and you're frustrated because you started first. You should be having more success than this person who just started. You know, what the heck is going on? Okay, so we're just going to close that. I'm hoping that the video is still going out all right, because something here is not quite working right. So here's the thing though, in all these situations, being fair isn't helping you. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Being fair in general isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that is, right? And fairness is taught to us from a very young age, right? We're told to stay in line, to wait our turn, all of that kind of stuff, right? We're taught to be fair, and it's completely natural to find yourself a little miffed when you perceive that something isn't fair. But here's an important question to consider. Does being upset about the unfairness serve you or your business? Because a lot of times it really doesn't. And certainly in the answers or in the situations I shared above, the worrying about whether it was fair or not doesn't serve you. All it does is kind of pit you in a you versus them mentality, right? And one of the things that also happened in all of those examples that I shared is there ends up being some comparison, right? Especially when you're looking at fairness, you're comparing what someone else got to you. So there's that comparison that's happening. And it leads to that feeling of unfairness when you notice that it's not a one-to-one comparison, that things aren't equal. And again, there's that underlying me versus them mentality, and that's not helpful in business generally. So what if instead of getting upset about the unfairness of it all, what if instead you did something else? So a couple of things you could do, or one thing you could do, is notice when you're feeling that things are unfair and get curious about what's going on. Get curious about where is that coming from for you? Why is that hitting your buttons? And the second thing you can do is get curious about the other person. And this one can be super, super helpful. So if somebody is more successful than you do, get curious. What is it about what they're doing that is leading to that success? Are they doing something differently? Could you do something similar, or tweak it so that it would work for you a little bit. And if somebody received like an extra bonus or extra whatever in a program you're in or at an event you're at, instead of sitting and stewing on it or comparing notes with everybody else, maybe ask that person, hey, I noticed, you got XYZ. Could you tell me how that came about? Or go to the leaders and say, hey, I noticed that this person got this and I didn't get that, and I was wondering how I could do that. Because sometimes what you'll find is, especially if it's like an extra time or something extra that they got, sometimes maybe they paid extra for it and that's why they're getting it. Or maybe it's something that you could get too, but you just weren't aware of it. And so you didn't know to ask for it. And just by being curious about it and asking about it without judgment on yourself or the other person or the person leading, sometimes you can find out what's going on and you can also receive those benefits. So opportunities to learn and connect are lost when you're worried about the fairness of it all and when you're comparing yourself to others. So I want to leave you today with a couple of questions or just things for you to notice in your business or your life. Where do you notice yourself worried about the fairness of it all or comparing yourself to others? Where does that show up for you? And if you're feeling brave, share it in the comments. I would love to know about it. If it's something you want to take a look at and work through and you're not comfortable sharing it in the comments, send me a private message. I'd love to hear about it and help you walk through that. And let me see if Facebook is working any better for me now so that I can see if any of you are commenting and looking at the video. It was running really slow earlier. I don't see any comments, so I'm going to close that again. So I will look again later and see if there's any comments. Again, I'd love to hear from you. And if you aren't already over in the Facebook group, head over there. It's Productivity for Women Entrepreneurs. I will share the link below, and it's just a really great place to be supported in your business and in productivity around your business, where you can share freely, you can ask questions, and you are given the reminder every Monday to think about what are your top priorities for the week. So until next week, much love. Have a great week.